Opinions change on logos as time goes on, as they have with me when we were discussing the Eastern Conference logos in the previous episode. Now we are discussing the Western Conference logos in this episode of Locked On Hurricanes.
You're Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey there, Caniacs. I'm your host, Jared Ellis, and you're listening to Locked On Hurricanes on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Andrew Schnittker, and this is part 2 of our 2023 Redux of grading the NHL logos. We did the Eastern Conference in the previous episode. Now we are doing the Western Conference. So if you want to know our thoughts on all of the Eastern Conference teams, go over and listen to that episode. You'll obviously hear us talk about our team, the Carolina Hurricanes there. But yeah, we got a whole other conference to get through, and we're doing that today, Andrew.
Yes, we are. And I think, you and I actually discussed this beforehand. Looking at the list for this one, there's really only one or two logos I don't like. So I think on the whole, the West has a lot stronger logos than the East.
East? I thought you said West. It was.
I
right
understood
there.
that
had
reference.
to happen. It had to happen. But we're gonna start off with the Central Division here in the Western Conference, and starting off with the Colorado Avalanche. I personally do have a soft spot for this logo, as I have family from Colorado, from Denver. So I've obviously seen a lot of the Avs. I've had my fair share of Avs merch over the years. So I personally really like this logo, even, if it may not be the best in the league. I, obviously really miss the old Abominable Snowman alternate logo. Or that was obviously super, super cool, but that was definitely a product of its time. For sure. But yeah, the nostalgia carries a lot for me here with the Avs. I am giving Colorado an A.
Yeah, I'll give them an A as well. I think this logo just does it really well. It's an appealing design. It's a really good use of the space. Great color scheme.
Mm-hmm.
The Avs have always had, I think, one of the better color schemes in the NHL. You've got obviously the A, the Avalanche symbolized here. It does what it needs to do. I like it. Give it an A and move on.
Yeah. Next up is the Dallas Stars. This logo is pretty mid. Not gonna lie. It really does nothing for me. I think there's a lot of potential with the Stars. With their color scheme, with the green and the bright green too. Not like a super, super deep green or anything like that. Like it's green. And then the black and the white. It's a lot of potential there. And obviously, again, it's Dallas. There's gonna be a star. There's gonna be a D, somewhere, in these logos. As with the Cowboys, with the Mavericks, that's just kind of stuff that's gonna happen with these logos. But it does feel like this one, could have been a bit more creative. Not a huge fan. I give for Dallas, for Big D, I give it a D+.
Wow. I'm giving it like a solid B. I like this logo. I mean, it's simple to the point. It does what it needs to do. Like we said, it's got the D, it's got the star around it. I like the color scheme for the most part. I would like to see more green, like you're saying, than just like kind of the green outline it has. The other thing I'll say for this logo, it is a massive step up from the one it replaced of the Star's old text-based logo.
Yeah.
Like with the text over the star. That was a terrible logo. This logo is a lot better. I don't love it. I think I like it a lot more than you do, so I'm giving it a B.
Yeah, not a fan of this one at all. I do not like it. as you can tell. Next up is the Minnesota Wild, going for a logo that I really don't like to a logo that I really do like. This one is just so cool. Obviously, there's the jokes of, oh, what animal is it? Is it a bear? What is it? Who cares? Well, I think it's a bear, but
It's a wild animal. They're called the wild. They're not called a specific animal. Clearly, it's a wild animal. Use your imagination.
Exactly, and my imagination says it's a bear. So, and plus, you just look at the logo. Everything is just done so right here. Again, you got the outline of the wild animal. They have, it's Minnesota, so you're really going in with the nature stuff. You have the river being the mouth of whatever animal it is. There's the trees. There's the moon, sun. I'm guessing moon here, because there's also the star where the eye would be. There's just so much symbolism here. Yeah, like we were talking about with the Hurricanes hockey stick logo, how you have the state of North Carolina in between the flags. You know, just the added details, and there's so much detail going on here, and it works. It's not too busy, and everything is blended really well, really well. I won't give it an A plus, but I am giving it an A.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to go A plus. This is one of my favorite logos. Like you said, I love everything about it. I love that it's a wild animal head. Like I said, I don't care what animal it is. Maybe it's a bear. Maybe it's a wolf. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. But I love all the details too. Like I love the little like moon sun up at the
Mhm.
top. I love the red sky. I love the trees kind of forming up from the green bottom half of the logo. I love I think it's like a little shooting star
Yep.
for the eye of the animal. Just perfect
Yeah.
logo. A plus.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and it does everything it needs to do. And you'll kind of see. I mean, you'll kind of see, folks, as the Eastern Conference, as the Western Conference goes on. We both have our personal tastes. So, I'll like things that Andrew won't like. He'll like things that I won't like. So you are going to see that here. Next up, we have the Winnipeg Jet. Simply because they are not the Atlanta Thrashers anymore. F. But you know, jokes aside, it's a fine logo. It does what it needs to do. It's Winnipeg, so you have, a maple leaf in there. The Jets, so you have a jet. I like the color scheme. It's a logo that they really haven't done a whole lot in changing it since the Jets came back, and it's held up well. It hasn't, started to look dated. Is kind of where Columbus, has started to look a little dated. This one has held up well. It does everything it needs to do. I'm giving the Winnipeg Jets one A minus B plus in that range.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go B plus on it. I think it's a cool logo. I like the way the circle sets up with kind of like the point in the white, matching you can see oh, the jet's gonna fly into that. Like it's good. The jet logo is cool. The color scheme is cool. And you're right, even though this, logo started came to be in, over a decade ago with the 2011-12 season when the Jets first came back, it's still a very modern looking logo design. Like there's a few logos on here that we're gonna get to later that I'm gonna say are starting to look a little bit dated, but this one has held up really well over the course of the second chapter in Winnipeg Jets history. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. This is a good logo. It does what they need it to do. I'll give it a B plus.
Yeah, I'll go A minus on it. It's simply because it's cool. It's a jet. It's different, and it's not red and black. But
There you go.
yeah, yeah. And again, it's fine. And we will get to the rest of the Central Division. A whole bunch more teams there, and plus we still have the whole Pacific Division as well to get to, and we will dive into those right after this quick break, folks. Now, folks, we always stress to you guys, it is important to set a healthy foundation for your life, for your favorite sports team. The Carolina Hurricanes, they have a very strong foundation, and they're seeing how that can pay off out on the ice. And if you're wanting to set a good foundation for yourself in your life, AG1 can help you do that. Our next partner, of course, is AG1. They've partnered with us a lot over the years, and we have told you guys that they really, really can help you have that strong foundation in your life with your health, because they provide with their comprehensive nutrient support to your whole body health. AG1 replaces your multivitamin, probiotic, and more in one simple drinkable habit. You can clean out all that clutter out of your medicine cabinet. Science driven formulation of vitamins, probiotics, and whole food source nutrients. Not a whole lot of fillers or anything like that in here. AG1 is raising the standard for quality in the supplement category. AG1 helps you build your health foundation first. If a comprehensive solution is what you need for your supplement routine, then try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1/NHL network. That's drinkag1.com/NHL network. Go check it out, folks, and build your strong foundation today. Now, diving back into the NHL Western Conference logos, we're going to go with one of my personal favorites next. We're sticking with the Central Division. That is the Nashville Predators. This one's just freaking cool, man. A plus. I love this logo. I have always thought it was so cool. This is arguably the coolest logo in the NHL. It is a saber-toothed cat. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Awesome. I love it.
Yeah,
I'm giving an A+ as well.
Like, for those of you that have been Hurricanes fans for a long time, or went to PNC Arena back when it was Raleigh Entertainment and Sports Arena and RBC Center, you'll remember that they used to have banners with every team's logo on there. I was almost a Predators fan because of this logo when I was a kid. I thought it was so cool. A+, does everything it needs to do. They updated it when they need to update, because it used to kind of like have that shininess to it, and then that started to look a bit dated. Then I still like it. I still think it looks cool, but it definitely looks of its time. They modernized it into what we have today, which is still great. They have a great color scheme with the blue and the yellow and the white. Does everything perfect. Their old alternate, whereas the skull of the saber-toothed cat, that was awesome. Freaking cool. Probably the coolest alternate logo in all of sports ever. But that is a conversation for another day. But yeah, it's one that it's all. They're another one. I would argue S tier. Just logo package history, like the Florida Panthers. I like the mustard cat. Okay, it's derpy looking. It's funny, and A+ for the Nashville Predators for me.
Yeah, I give it an A+ as well. It's another one of you can't beat the classics. This is just such a great logo. So cool looking. Like you said, the saber-toothed cat. Great color scheme. This is another one that may honestly look like it's not a very modern look, but I think for this one, that's fine. There's there's a couple ones on here that I'm going to recommend be modernized a little bit more, but you don't need to mess with this one. That's perfect. Yeah. A+.
It's perfect. Next up, the St. Louis Blues. This is an interesting one because it does everything it needs to do, but I'm still not a huge fan of it. It obviously they're going after the blues music and whatnot from St. Louis, so it's obviously a musical note. You could also kind of argue that the little note kind of looks like a hockey stick or whatever. I don't know if you'd really want to dive into that, but it does what it needs to do, but it's just kind of simple. I just wish there was a bit more going on here. It doesn't really grab my eye aside from the fact of its color scheme of being a lot of blue and then the yellow. For me, I'm going C- here for St. Louis. Like, it's not bad, but it's not great. It doesn't really stand out in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna go B minus, C plus. I mean, it's a nice color scheme with the blue and yellow. Like you said, I mean, it's they're the St. Louis Blues. It's a musical note, so it doesn't need to do. I talked about some logos that are starting to look a little bit dated that I want to see modernized a little bit more. This is one of them. I think it could do with a little bit of a modern redo. You don't need huge changes. You can still have that blue note logo as your primary logo. Just clean it up a little bit. As I said, modernize it a little bit, similar to what teams like Tampa Bay and Florida have done with their logos. If you want a template for that, if they could do anything that could in some way incorporate the St. Louis arch, I think that'd be really cool into their logo. But
Mhm.
yeah, just needs a little sprucing up. I'll say C plus on this one.
Yeah, it's fine. Next up is, in my opinion, possibly the best logo in the NHL, and that is the Arizona Coyotes. This logo is freaking cool. Actually, I'm gonna say it. This is the best logo in the NHL. And because just the Kachina coyote, it is awesome. It's so Arizona and so Southwest. Like it does everything perfect. Very much like the Penguin playing hockey. For Pittsburgh, you got a coyote playing hockey in the art style of its region. It's perfect. It is absolutely perfect. It is the best logo in the NHL, in my opinion. It's so cool. And then just how it works in on the jerseys too. It looks good there. There was the old Howling Coyote one. That's the jersey I have in my closet. And that one was fine. It was kind of middle of the road. Not great, not bad. But when they went back to this being their primary, because this used to be their primary when they first moved to Arizona, it's great. It's perfect. And obviously, they had to do something to appease the fans there in Arizona with the team not being great. I think this was a great move going back to it. It's a great logo. It's best in the NHL. It looks great on their jerseys. Yeah, A plus, A plus plus.
Yeah, I'll say that. I'll say A plus as well. The Coyotes don't have much going for them these days, but they do have this logo. It's just such a cool look, cool color scheme, cool design. It's unique, which I always love. Um, I think it has one challenger for best logo in the NHL, a challenger that we will see in the next segment of this episode. But yeah, no, it's top two. It might be two. I got to think about it a little bit, but it's one or two. It's just a phenomenal logo.
Yes, and we are going to round out the Central Division real quick with the Chicago Blackhawks. This is one where I don't know how to feel about this logo. Honestly, it's one I've never been a huge fan of in general, and then with recent controversies, around the logo itself, I just don't know how to feel about this logo. Again, never one that I really liked to begin with. It just never did it for me, really. Like ever since I started watching hockey, it's never been a logo I've really cared for. It just hasn't been. But I also do recognize it is a classic logo, very much like we were talking about with the Rangers, with the Bruins, with the Red Wings. Yeah, this with the Canadians, with the Maple Leafs. Like these are logos that have stood the test of time, and there's something to be said for that. I'll give Chicago a C. C minus. Like, I mean, it's never been a logo I've liked, but I do recognize, it stood the test of time.
Yeah, I'll go with like a B just because of that. It stood the test of time. It's another, quote unquote classic. I think all the original 6 logos have stood the test of time really well. I think the color scheme really works. But yeah, with like you're talking about with the controversy around it, I think, using a Native American caricature as a sports logo is probably not something we need to be doing in 2023. So for the longevity and for the overall design, I'd give it a B, but I think it's probably due for a change.
Yeah, I agree there. And, you know, even if they just kind of did something, I don't even know what they could do really. That's you can go listen to Locked On Blackhawks for that one, and we're gonna start diving into the Pacific Division, their logos, which is gonna have the challenger for best logo in the NHL. Right after this quick break, folks. All right, folks, we are back, and now it's time to dive into the Pacific Division, and we're going to start out with the Stanley Cup winners, the Vegas Golden Knights. They have a great logo, and I love it. Is it my favorite? No. I already said Arizona is mine. But, yeah, this is another logo. It does everything perfect here. I'm going to give Vegas... I'll give them an A. The Golden Knight helmet's really cool. I like the shield. I like the V in the helmet. I think that's a cool little touch. I would just say the one thing that doesn't give it an A plus is I wish it popped a bit more. There's a lot of black here, and have it be a bit flashier. Even if it was like, okay, you keep the background and whatnot, you keep that black. Just brighten up the
Yeah, you need maybe
or
a little bit
whatever,
brighter,
whatever color
brighter
you have there,
gold
brighten that up a bit.
to contrast. Yeah, that's what I would say. You need a little bit better brighter contrast with the black, because it kind of fades into it a little bit. I'm with you. I'm going to give it an A for that reason. I said I really like the shield. It's a good. It's just weird for me. Like, you guys heard me talk about how much I like the Florida Panthers shield, and I like this on the Eastern Conference. I like simple shield logos. Like, that's part of the reason why. If you guys heard me trash on the Rangers logo in the last episode, I don't like that shield because it does too much, but we're not talking about that now. We're talking about this. It's a good, simple shield. I like the helmet design. You talked about the like Visions visor on the helmet being a V for Vegas. I love good, creative, worked in details like that, much like the negative space and the warning flags on the Hurricanes. Alternate logo being the state of North Carolina. I think that's a really cool thing. So yeah, I give it an A. If the gold coloring or gold or bronze or whatever was a little bit brighter to contrast with the black background, it's an easy A plus for me.
Yeah, I agree. And next up, we have my favorite style of logos, a text logo, and that is the Edmonton Oilers. I like the color scheme here. I really do. And I know there's not a whole heck of a lot you could do here. Like Golden Knights or whatever. You can have a helmet, you can have a knight. With we'll get to them later, but the Sharks, you can have a shark, okay? With the Oilers, not a whole lot you can really do here. So I do understand, the text logo in that regard, but I'm still not a huge fan of it. I'm really not. It feels like the ink smeared, like a left-handed person was drawing it and then it smeared. It definitely gives that vibe. I mean, I like the little oil drop, up top. That's cool. But just as a whole, not a fan of this logo at all. I'll give it a. I mean, it was a kind of logo that's synonymous with Wayne Gretzky, so I can't give it too bad of a grade. But I will though. I give Edmonton a D.
I also give them a D minus. I really don't like this logo. The little like splash oil drop is really the only color. Otherwise, it's just too much white. And I don't know, this shade of like really dark blue doesn't go well with it for me. And like you said, I don't mind a text-based logo if it's done right. This text looks horrible. Like the way it's like stretched down. Like you said, it does. I was like thinking, like you're a kid, like, you draw with marker and it like bleeds down the paper. Like that's what it looks like to me. It's just, it's not an appealing look. I'm going D minus. I really hate this logo, to be honest with you. It's not good.
The reason I don't go D minus is because I like the color scheme.
That's fair.
That's it.
But I don't. But see, I don't. I'm like I don't like that. I just feel like
blue
there's so
orange.
much white in the blue. Well, see, I like their jerseys, but the logo itself, like it's too much white, and the blue doesn't fill the space well for me.
Yeah. Next up, we have the LA Kings. This is a logo I like it a lot, but I also recognize that, okay, it could use a little bit of sprucing up because they've had this one for quite a while now, and it does work well for what it does. With the Shield logo, it's LA, so much like the New York teams, that is going to be a part of it. It's going to happen. So, and then they did, of course, keep the little crown there at the bottom of the little shield banner thing they have going on, and it's a lot of black here, and that is my main knock against it, is that I would like them to have a bit more color. But I know
Maybe
their
some
colors
purple.
now, they've went away from the purple, they've went away from the purple and yellow. They've went away from all that. It's the black and the white and the gray. Those are the colors now, and it works well. It does. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I would like a little bit more color, something to make it pop a little bit more. I'm still gonna give it an A minus. I would like it to be spruced up a little, but it still works. It's not broken by any means.
Yeah, I'll go B plus A minus. It's another logo that is kind of borderline classic. Again, a good simple shield design. I really like. I actually like the black, silver, and white color scheme.
Oh, I
I
do
think it
too.
works for them. I would prefer. I really like purple. I think we need more purple logos and jerseys and sports. So I wouldn't mind seeing some more of that there. But I like the LA in the top half. I like their little crown logo down here in the bottom. I'll go A minus. This is a cool logo. It's a classic look. It could maybe deal with a little bit of sprucing up, but this is like borderline. If it ain't broke, don't fix it for me. It's a really nice logo.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, there's some times when text and a logo can work. You know, with the Florida Panthers logo, I think it works well there. All New York sports teams are going to have NY in their logo somewhere, just like LA teams are going to have LA in their name somewhere. That's just going to happen regardless. That's going to be a part of it. And the Kings do that really well here, and they executed it well. Next up, the newest logo here is the Seattle Kraken. And oh man, it's a good logo, but it's not a great logo. I think they could have done more with the sea monster aspect of it. I liked kind of some of the mock-up ones when everyone was kind of speculating what it would look like. I also I don't know if they done it officially of having this Space Needle worked in have they done that alternate logo yet, or is that just the fan mock-up?
Well,
Because I
they've
would
got
love if
like it's their shoulder logo.
okay, yeah, because I would love if they worked either like the Space Needle into the primary logo a bit more, or if they lean more into the sea monster Kraken aspect of it rather than it just being the S, the red eye there. I know it kind of has a little bit of a tentacle vibe as well, but it's just it's not bad by any means. But I wish they would have done a bit more here. Got a little bit more creative. Feels like they very much took a safe route with this logo. But again, it's not bad by any means. It's pretty average, honestly. I'm gonna give it a C.
I'm gonna give it an A plus. This is the contender with the Kachina for the best logo in the NHL for me. I love the teal color scheme.
Yeah,
I
I do
love
really like that.
I love the S. I love the darker 10. Like I don't think it needs more. Like honestly, like you're doing a little bit of show don't tell here. Like you don't need like if a good simple design works, that's fine. And this works. I love the red eye. Like it's got like it feels like angry. Like the S is angry at you. And it's a sea monster. So it should be angry at you. Like and again, I love the teal. That is such a great color for a
No, it
logo,
is.
such a great color for jerseys. What I want to see is I want them to make a teal colored alternate jersey with the space anchor logo, needle anchor logo on it. I think that would look really cool. But
I think
No,
we'll get
I
it
love
eventually.
this logo. This is top 2 with the Kachina for me. This is a phenomenal logo. A plus.
All right, we have our first big disagreement of the Western Conference. Is I think Seattle's logo is average. Andrew think it's arguably the best in the NHL.
I think it's awesome.
But yeah, again, it's not bad. I just wish it got a little bit more creative. Even if like you kept like the S the way it is, if you made the I a little bit more prominent, or kind of like where you're going for the tentacle, like put a little bit of like the little suction things there. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a graphic designer by any means. I can barely draw a straight line. So what do I know? Uh, Next up is the Calgary Flames. Now, this is one I'm torn on, honestly, because much like Edmonton, there's not a whole lot you can do here. Obviously, they have Blasty. I think, that should be their primary. I love it. It's cool. Um, But with this one here, it's fine. It's a flaming sea. And they do play into that with their branding as well, with the sea of red kind of thing. And it is also very red, and it stands out as well. They really play into the red aspect of it, which I like. And I'll give Calgary because there's also a little bit of a nostalgia factor here. When I was a kid, how like you put like cards and you like the spokes or your wheels on your bike. I had a Calgary. I could not tell you the player, so don't even ask on that one. But I had a Calgary card in one of the wheels because of the flaming sea. Because having like the flames on stuff that gives you extra speed. So
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah. So there's a little bit of nostalgia factor with that logo there as well. And it's one that has really just stood the test of time. They've never really changed it aside from some shading and, some outline stuff here and there over the years. Never really changed a lot. I'm going to give Calgary a B plus.
So I think we're finding out in doing this that I have a lot more appreciation for well done minimalist logos than Jared does, because I'm giving this an A plus. I love this logo. It's one of my favorites, honestly. It's similar to Tampa Bay. It's just a really cool, clean look. I love the sea. I love the way they have the flames coming off it.
Mhm.
I honestly, the like red with the yellow outline is a
Mhm.
color scheme that really works for me.
It
I
does.
think like this is the logo that the Calgary Flames need. I think it's great. It's an A plus. It's like I said, it's one of my all time favorite logos. I love
Mhm.
it. I
It's
I do
another
love
one
the
of those
one
where if it ain't
that's
broke,
like
don't
the
fix it.
flaming horse head too. I think
Mhm.
maybe they could use that a little bit more, but no, this is a great logo.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, really. Next up is the Vancouver Canucks. And this is a logo. I like it. I do. I just wish it had a bit more variation in the color.
Yeah,
It very much blends together. There's a lot of potential here. There really is. I love the art style. I love the orca. Just love what they got going on here. I just wish there was more color. I'm gonna go
maybe a
an
little.
A minus for Vancouver. Um, with the one knock being, I wish it had more color.
Maybe throw like some green in there.
Yes,
Yeah, some
yes, or some more
like
white or
just
what something.
yeah, I'm gonna give this a B. I like it. It's another sort of classic look. Like you automatically are gonna think of the Canucks when you see this.
Mhm.
I'm with you. It needs more color, maybe some green, maybe a lighter shade of blue, maybe some more. I don't know about more white. I think green or light blue would be good. I also think it's another one that's starting to look a little bit dated. I think it could use a little bit of modernization. I think there's a ton of potential for them to modernize that, similar to the way the Florida Panthers have done with their logo. I know Canadian teams probably have a lot different feelings on that than teams based in the southeastern United States in terms of modernizing logos, and that's fine. You
Yeah.
know, it's like team history and heritage absolutely should play into the decisions you're making, and you got to know your audience. But Me personally, I'd like to see it modernized a little bit more. Maybe the Canucks fan base wouldn't, and that's fine. But this is my grade, not theirs, so I'm going to give it a B.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, really just updating colors. That's the main thing for me. But moving on to the San Jose Sharks A plus. This logo is awesome. It is cool. It is a shark biting a hockey stick in half and literally does everything it needs to do perfectly. Again, it's a shark. It's cool. It looks menacing. There's a hockey stick in it. Everything it needs to do. The teal, like you were talking about with Seattle, it has that teal to stand out differently. And I love this logo. It has always been one of my favorite logos. Obviously, there have been modernizations of it over the years, but they have kept the same general logo for the most part throughout their history, just updating it as the years goes on. It's always the shark biting the hockey stick in half. Again, it's a shark. It's cool. It's an A plus.
I'll give it a B plus. I agree with everything you said. I like the shark. I like the shark biting the hockey stick. It's a great logo. Don't get me wrong. I think there's also potential for this one, similar to what I said about with the Canucks, to modernize it a little bit, like the
Perfect.
Panthers did. It's a little bit more old looking, and I don't know. I feel like it's not the same as the Predators, where it's fine to be old looking. Like I think it could look better. I think the colors could pop a little bit more. Like it's a
Okay.
much darker teal, and then with the black it kind of fades. Like I think it could be a little bit
Okay.
brighter, maybe. So no, like I'm not like I like it. I like it a
Yeah.
lot. I just obviously not as much as you. I see improvements that could be made to make it even better. That's why I'm giving it a B plus.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I could definitely say, brighten up the teal a bit more or add more of it. I could definitely see that. One thing I think would be cool is if they, because I know they use orange quite a bit, if you're to incorporate some orange in there a little bit. But yeah,
Orange is
I
always
love
good.
this. I love this logo. It's always been one of my favorites. Like I was saying with the Predators, I was very much almost a Predators fan because of that logo. Same with the Sharks. Way back in the day, my first game was the Hurricanes against the Sharks, and yeah, it's a shark logo. It's cool. I have a San Jose Sharks pennant in storage, from that game because again, it's a shark. It was cool. I was like 5, you know. I mean, it that's gonna happen. It does everything it needs to do perfectly, in my opinion. But last, but almost least, is the Anaheim Ducks, and their logo sucks.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. It is really bland, and they went from having one of, if not the best sports logo of all time, with the Mighty Ducks logo, to, well, almost to this. They did have that text based one when they
Which
won the
was
Stanley
somehow even
Cup.
worse than this.
Yeah, that was worse than this. That was like negative F. I won't go full F for this because again they did get rid of like the full text, and this has potential. It's a duck, okay? You got the webbed foot of the duck. It's creative. I'll give it that, and it's kind of in the shape of the D for the ducks. Okay, you got something going on there, but it just yeah, the color isn't great. That tan, not a big fan of that color. Kind of like when we were talking about the Penguins, their variation of their current logo with that kind of like tannish beige band-aid color. Like, not a fan of that one. Kind of the same here. I wish they would brighten it up. Maybe if they like made orange the primary color, that could be cool. Make it stand out a bit more. And I do think part of our issues with this logo is it does still have that stink of that full text logo, and it still has that stink attached to it. So I'm gonna go fitting D for the Ducks. Eh, I'll, I'll go D plus, simply because it has potential. It could be something, and I like the idea of it, of the webbed foot, the duck foot as the logo. I like that idea, but just the execution is not great at all. And then again, you went from having arguably the best logo in sports history to this. Like that's going to have some stink on it. Just like, again, the stink attached to that full text logo as well.
Well, that's why I'm giving going from the Mighty Ducks to this is why I'm giving it an F. Just because, like, why? Why? It's like with the Capitals, like the Screaming Eagle being right there. Why would you do this when you could just use the Mighty Ducks logo? That's awesome and perfect. This logo is just, it's boring. The design is boring. Like you said, the colors are really boring. Just everything about the Anaheim Ducks right now just like puts me to sleep. Like when you watch a game,
anniversary jersey's cool.
Well, okay, that one, yes. But like the other thing, because the other thing about the Ducks, they also have the worst, most boring goal horn in the NHL. Like you watch a game that's played there, it's just like, how are people like excited about that? And I guess probably they're not, because there's like 17 people at their home games. But
I like the Ducks.
I just this logo sucks. It's an F. It's one of the worst, if not the worst, in the NHL.
No, that's Washington.
That's fair.
Yep, that's Washington. But yeah, Anaheim,
this logo's awful.
Again, they went from arguably the best logo in sports history to this. So you're gonna take a step down regardless. And like I said, I feel like there's potential with this. If they would like revamp the colors on it or something, just to make it pop more, and stand out, then maybe something can happen. But it's just so bland, so boring. Like you said, it's not great, but yeah, it is what it is. Maybe they'll change it. Maybe they won't. Same can go for every single NHL team we have talked about over these 2 episodes in regards to logos, whether they need to change them, whether they don't. Yeah, they're going to do what they're going to do. We'll just have to wait and see, and make sure you are giving us your thoughts on these Western Conference logos. Ones you like, ones you didn't like. Did you agree with us? Did you disagree with us? Let us know on Twitter at LO_Hurricanes, myself on Twitter at Jared Ellis _96, and Andrew over on Twitter as well at ASchnitt53. And we will talk to you guys in the next episode. And as always, folks, let's go Canes.